When you buy ground beef, the less fat, the more you pay. But the ABC 15 investigators found the fat content on the label doesn't always match what's in the meat. Tonight, ABC 15 investigator Joe Ducey goes undercover to see what's really in your hamburger.
It's an American favorite, tasty and cheap. But the hamburger you buy may not be what the label says.
The public would be outraged if they knew what was going on.
The ABC 15 investigators undercover, exposing a government investigation and some grocery store secrets from a former butcher about what's really in the meat case.
We didn't know what we were selling.
At Butcher Bob's in Surprise, Jason Smith grinds a lot of hamburger.
Saturdays 4 or 5 times a day.
His shop is not required to list fat content on ground beef labels. But earlier this year, the U.S. Department of Agriculture required the labels for bigger grocery stores. And the less fat, the more you pay. It can be a couple of bucks more a pound. So what if all the meat was the same?
Chuck could have been round, round could have been Chuck. The customers are being misled by what we were selling.
Larry Solberg is a former butcher at AJ's Fine Foods. He says he was fired after 15 years for raising concerns about what he calls a routine practice.
What we were doing is taking all of the cuts of the steaks, throwing them in a big grinder, grinding the product through, and just putting it into the case.
He says it was a shortcut. Larry says AJ's had a policy of measuring fat content.
So while you were there, how often did they record the content?
None. Zero.
He says that includes the expensive ground American Kobe at $6.99 a pound.
And what was sitting in the case?
It would have been just probably between Chuck and sirloin.
And now the ABC 15 investigators have confirmed the government is looking into AJ's. The USDA's Food and Inspection Service has an open investigation. In a statement, AJ says if or when we learn of an issue, we investigate and, if necessary, immediately resolve the issue. They say they maintain strict and consistent standards and that Mr. Solberg was dismissed in January. The reason? Not related.
So, is this a problem at your favorite store? We bought ground beef at Safeway, Fry's, Albertsons, and AJ's, and we tested it for fat. Coming up, I'll show you how nearly half of the ground beef came back with more fat than the label showed, and I'll tell you where we bought it.